Hey, everybody. Am I live? Yes, I'm live. Welcome to Littlejohn's Yarns. I'm Alysha. If this is your very first time here, we like to sit here, crochet, maybe have a little sip of wine. And if you notice somebody a little different on the side of the screen, I have the most talented, amazing Karen V. Miguel from Canada Bliss joining me here today. So, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Alicia. I'm so blessed and grateful for you to be here. I was looking forward to this for so long.
You know what? Usually I tell everybody I'm always nervous when I go live, not because I'm like, I'm going to mess up or anything, but I've talked to you in our previous chat. It's like I've known you forever. It's like talking to a sister because we just make
Oh,
jokes. Before I get into the whole chat and the whole interview, guys, I just want to tell you a quick story about 10 minutes ago. Me and Karen, we were just setting up for the live and it just wasn't working right. I guess she had like this 8-second delay. So she was talking, her mouth wasn't moving. She's like, let me fix this. She walks off camera and all I hear is, everybody in the house, stop streaming.
we're keeping it real.
You're so cute. I love it. Okay, I'm sorry. I just had to tell that. It was so funny. Okay, guys, where are you from? What time is it? And wait, Karen, where are you from?
Oh, Ontario. So we're in the same time zone.
Yes, thank goodness. All right, let me see in the chat who's here. I see Gemma Maroon here. My buddy XD Symphony's here. We has TDS 19. Haven't seen you in a little bit, and Brenny 18. Some of my favorites. So I'm gonna make everybody pause for 2 seconds. I forgot to put the bubbles in my bubble machine. Oh, I'm dropping stuff. And if you guys wondering why I'm putting bubbles in a bubble machine, I have, well, everybody on YouTube, YouTubers who stream, have something called Super Chat. You'll see a little dollar sign in the bottom of your chat button right there. When you click on that, you're able to donate to influencers so they continue to put out content and information for you for free. But when that does happen, lights will go off and bubbles will go off, and me and Karen will cheers.
Cheers.
I think I did. Is that long enough spill for us?
Yes.
Okay, so for everybody who's just now meeting you, who are you? So, who's Karen? What is Canada Bliss? What are you about?
Well, I'm Karen Valoria Miguel, and I'm owner and founder of Canada Bliss. I make handmade crochet. I started making handmade crochet hats and accessories, and it was back in 2016 when I did this, and I've been selling crochet handmade hats and accessories like scarves, neck warmers, and that sort of thing online, as well as like to like national outlets like the Shopping Channel and various wholesale places as well. If you're in Canada and in Ontario or Toronto, you might have seen me at the One of a Kind show as well. It's one of the biggest shows in Canada. So I'm there. I sell in person. So I have both retail and wholesale sales. I haven't gotten into pattern selling yet, but I know that there's an interest in it. And I've done a few, but it's just I haven't gone heavy into it. But that is a goal of mine for this year. And yeah, and a few years back, my business really took off. So it got kind of noticed abroad. And there's a number like it's very popular with like hockey moms, people in Ontario, around the world. I had a little bit of like a European distribution for a while, and then took off a little bit in Hollywood.
I
So
know you're like, you have like, when, yeah, I see my son. You ever had this happen where a kid stands right next to you? I'm trying to ignore him in the corner of my eye. Yes, son. Yes, you can get cookies. Go ahead.
you may have the cookies.
You may have the cookie, son. He was waiting there patiently. I'm like, I'm not going to look. I'm not going to look. But you wear like so many hats and you are everywhere. And now you're on YouTube and you're offering like great business advice for people to get like where you are and making money in their own craft, not just for crochet, but for crafters in general.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, I think because there's just so much opportunity with like social media and being able to put your message out there. I mean, when I first started with Canada Bliss, there was probably Facebook and Twitter and Etsy, you know?
Yeah.
And whenever I'd make something, I'd post it on Etsy, I would post it on Twitter. And I think that's how I kind of got recognized.
Mhm.
And now it's just so hard to know where to put
Innovate.
your message and your product so that you can be seen and you can deliver, like you can show what it is that you can do. So I'm always constantly trying to see where my audience is. And yeah, and when Instagram came along, I thought, oh well, we'll give this a try.
Yeah, you're an Instagram star. You have like what, 23,000, 25,000 followers on Instagram?
Yeah, it was slow and steady. Like it grew and grew. Like when I first started, I would just post, and most of my original posts were just, I think I have posts on there from early days when I got my first boutique.
Uh-huh.
Like I would love to. This is one of my to dos. I always write my to dos down on what to post on my Instagram. I mean my YouTube. But one of the things I want to do is like how to get your first wholesale accounts, because truly it's a lot of like pavement pounding.
You were giving me some information that I've never even heard of. There are so many people that don't know the next step. And somehow you figured all these steps out on your own. And you're like, it's easy. You're like, no, you're a talented woman. You're a genius that figured all this stuff out.
No, it's you find like you don't know what you don't know. And
Yeah.
when I started, I didn't know. Like, I was still working in an office just like you, and I was like, I had no idea. This is a true story, and I haven't told you this one either, because I worked in HR. Okay, my background is in human resources. I have a degree in industrial relations and HR, and then prior to that, I have another college diploma from for marketing, and it was like from back in the day when like marketing was like telephone and like you like to buy a pager. Like seriously, I sold pagers by phone.
Oh.
But that's like maybe that's where I get the grit from, because selling pagers by phone is the worst.
We're not going to tell your age, but this woman right here is
Almost 50.
almost 50. I thought you were younger than me. I'm like, you're like, oh yeah, when I was like 43, I'm like, well, you say a couple years ago when you were 43? I'm like, how old are you now? I'm like, but you look gorgeous. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you.
But what's your history of marketing and HR? How have you took that experience into your crochet business, Canada Bliss? I mean, now branded Karen V. Miguel.
What? Well, okay. So what I got from marketing is I got that. Well, I have the general background of like what you should hold on. Let me shut something down. It's kind of distracting me.
Okay.
I have the general background of what you need to do in marketing. It really just depends. What I've learned in doing this for crochet is that you just have to find where your audience was. Back when I first learned marketing, like in college, everything was direct mail, newspaper ads, and telemarketing. Okay. The world's so different now. So when I first started, I'm like, okay, where's the audience now? Where audience is now on things like Facebook, and it was just a baby back when I started, but Instagram, and then this Twitter thing that was like kind of getting hot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's probably now what people are doing instead of like newspaper ads. So I started with that sort of thing. So that kind of helped me, because I was always aware that you need to find where your audience is.
Yeah.
And then you need to be able to communicate with them well through, it's always a good thing to be able to refine your like communication skills in terms of like writing and having an idea of what you want to say. So that when you're like in interviews or stuff, that sort of thing. So that was that for like marketing. And then also having really good pictures, because
I tell people all the time.
Yeah, that is the fundamental thing with selling crochet, handmade, any kind of product. It's having good pictures, and not just having good, like the foundation is having good, clear pictures, but the real like essence of it is being able to convey how you want people to feel when they're wearing what you have to give. What you're really selling is the feeling and the like the emotive part of what it is that you have to give. And
not to cut you off, but this brings up something that one of our favorite crochet people said, Maya Luna Crochet. She was talking about when you sell something that you crochet, you need to tell a story.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what you said, convey some type of emotion. Nobody's going to want to pick up your stuff when you have your, I always say, your husband sitting in the background and your mail on a coffee table. What emotion are you conveying? What story are you telling? When I look at your pictures, I was like, oh, I am kids. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I need to improve. I know that much.
Oh, well, like when I look at your pictures, I feel like your energy and like you feel like you're joyful and you emote that. You do. Just so you know, that's one of the things that I'm like I find so like energetic about you. So
Oh,
know this about you.
oh, I it makes me a little bit self-conscious during this interview. I had an interview a couple days ago, and somebody's like, "Oh, girl, you should see your face." I'm
What do
like,
you mean?
"That was it." No more explanation. I'm like, I know I'm very expressive. In pictures, you look like regal and just beautiful,
Oh,
but when
you're
I
so
talk,
photogenic. You are.
I'm very express. I guess the cute faces, but I don't know.
But I think that's the nicest thing. Like they're like when you have energy and you like because I think you're photogenic. Like your early pictures too. I'm like, wow, look at that girl. She's like so you like
Picture 572.
that's so funny. But yeah, so that's what I got from like marketing, like pictures and the emotion and how you want people to feel, or yeah, like how yeah, like that. Like, do you want them to feel elegant, or do you want them to feel relaxed, or do you want them to feel like they're spoiling themselves, or whatever? Like, it's just trying to mold that. So whenever I have an idea for something, I remember conceiving of Canada Bliss in the shower, and the first thing I
What year was this?
like 2016, like
Okay,
or
2016.
like more like 2013. I'm hummed and hot about starting this like years before I even put it on Etsy, right? Because I
Uh-huh.
was crocheting since I was a kid, but we'll get to that. Anyway, like I'd conceive it, but the first thing I pictured was like a couple or like this woman at the top of a ski hill and like kind of cool air blowing through her hair and she's wearing my hat and like that's the like this kind of like cathartic outdoor like
Yeah.
yeah, that experience like just kind of like I'm free, I'm doing what I love and I'm wearing this hat. That's how I pictured the brand conveyed, and then I kind of went with that with everything that I like. I can't do I couldn't never I've never been able to do that shoot. One day I'll be able to
Oh,
do that
I thought that's a
shoot.
beautiful idea. I need you to choreograph like some pictures for me because when I'm taking pictures, I'm like, white wall.
That's funny. Oh no, but we learn as we go, right?
Hmm.
The thing is, when I was a kid, my parents had a photo finishing store. So I used to follow my dad around on like bridal photo shoots, and I was the one he'd be like, Karen, go fix the dress. So and I'd fix the dress and I'd come back. So I always knew like I had at least that kind of idea of like, okay, it's gotta nothing is real in photos. Like, well, like things are real, but like yeah, like things are
Clip
not
back, adjust
right.
it,
Yeah,
turn.
pin that over there. Like it's you. There are adjustments made when you make pictures, and you have the idea of what you want to convey. So from my marketing and like my parents, I guess that's like through socialization because my parents had a finishing store, and then my husband. He is a fine arts major, but he's a teacher as well now and music teacher. But he always did his fine arts projects on photography.
Uh-huh.
And at the time I was also starting my business,
You guys
he
are so
was
talented.
he
Keep
was
going.
I would look at images of reportage style photography. Like, when wedding photography didn't it shifted from like a like husband and wife holding
Yeah,
the bouquet to like two people running on a beach barefoot, like
yeah, got you.
like those type of weddings. And I'm like, if you could do that with wedding photos, why can't you do that with like hats? Like I'm going to do that with my hats. That's what I just figured. So like that's how I'm going to convey like people using my hats. So and my accessories. So that's where I kind of got that idea. And then once I started my business, the HR part of it kind of came into play when I started looking for like crocheters, because you got to be resourceful, right?
Yeah.
And you know that when you become an entrepreneur, you have to wear all the hats. So of the company, you're not just crocheting, but you got to be the accountant, the producer, like the financer, your own PR company. You got to be your admin.
How do you handle that? We're going to skip all those basic questions about when you learned how to crochet. We're already in the meat of it.
Oh,
We're in the meat. How do you handle doing all these things? Because I know people see you online and they probably think, oh, okay, I got to change the topic real quick.
yeah.
When people see you online, can I show people? Well, this is when I first seen her. I'm going to share an image with you. Here we go. Share screen. Give me a second. There we go. When I see people, this is Karen's Instagram page. Is that Whoopi? Is
Girl,
that
you're not following me.
I'm not? Oh, girl. Oh.
It's too funny.
Okay, let me keep showing these pictures.
Okay.
Look at all these celebrities. Okay, let me get back. Cheers to you. Please accept me. Please. Wait, this is hard. Wait, can you do it? Okay, so when you look at somebody like your page, you make it look so easy, but people don't understand exactly how much work goes behind it. And you're talking about you are HR, you're your own computer tech, you're your own marketer. How do you manage your day?
It's tough.
I'm
not sure I have it down pat. I will tell you the best I can do. Okay. Okay, on a broad perspective, like I think in terms of projects, okay? So if I know that I'm in a period where, say,
actually, wait.
Sure.
Maybe we should tell them exactly everything you do. You have your Canada Bliss. You tell them. So what exactly?
I have Canada Bliss, which is the accessories company. And in Canada Bliss, there's the retail side, wholesale, and then retail I also include as retail is selling wholesale to people, retail online, and then occasionally I do consumer shows. And I used to do wholesale trade shows too, but I don't know what's going to happen with that with COVID and all that. So I haven't done any in the last year. So that's that line of business. And then I have YouTube, and do I have it? Oh, and occasionally I'll consult small businesses. Before, when Canada Bliss was just starting out, it was a seasonal company, and I kind of planned it that way because the majority of my business happened in August through February. And I remember getting this advice from somebody. This woman, I don't know if you know her, this brand Centeler. Do you know Kate Middleton and
Yes.
Yeah. And Meghan Markle,
yes.
They wear this alpaca coat, and it's by Centeler. And then I was at a Fashion Week event in Toronto, and I met Centeler when she was first getting started. So the other thing about me being in marketing is I don't throw away opportunities. I'm not giving away my shot. So
yeah.
I scoot over to her. And I'm like, hey, I make alpaca accessories too. And she's like, oh, I go, hey, I have a question for you. The period between February, March, and then the beginning of the selling season wholesale for accessories, do you spread out into spring accessories, or what do you do? And then she's like, because I was trying to launch a spring line of knits, and it bombed. So, yeah, it didn't work out well. I don't think I even broke even during the spring. But she's like, everybody during the spring for knits and like winter accessories, they're all planning. And most retail doesn't happen until like August, February, March anyway.
That's the heat of the season.
Yeah. So she's like, use that time to plan, use that time to develop and like do all of your business stuff. And like, you don't, most those, like those 4 dead months are dead for everybody in retail, whether they're selling sundresses or like, or knits. So use that time productively for planning instead. So you're not accruing more like costs.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I kind of learned. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to put my eggs more in this basket and stop wasting time trying to make like lightweight knits. They take forever anyway, and then I spend less time developing the winter accessories, which is what I really sell mostly of. So anyhow, okay, so I met that lady from Centeler and she gave me that advice. And where was I going with this again?
But I do have, I don't know, but
Okay.
being a whole selling wholesale, how do you do that as a one person crocheter?
Okay, so what I do is my year is in blocks kind of thing, leading up to in that kind of less busy period between like March to July. I'm designing for the winter, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm testing stuff. So I'm visiting my crocheters, we're hanging out, we're crocheting together. I'm seeing if they crochet that style like I crochet that style. And then if I don't make a lot of a first run of a release. Like this year I released the Divine hat, and I wasn't sure if it would sell as much because it's somewhat similar to my Tranquility hat, but it sold pretty well. So I'm probably going to develop it more and I'll add more colors. So that's typically what I do. I'll create new designs. I'll see how it sells. I'll get it into production, photograph it. Photographing happens somewhere between like May and July. I give myself like May to July to photograph it. And then August, I'll have like my line sheets for wholesale ready. And then that's when all of the retailers get to preview everything that I'm going to be releasing for the fall. Then when things start releasing through the fall, then I'll start releasing the images at the same time the retailers do. So I'm not like kind of, you don't want to peeve off your retailers and underselling them.
Yeah.
You have to be priced at the same, but also you want to also point to them too. Like, you can get my product over here. Like, you got to raise them up as well, right?
Is this like, how can I explain it? Like, whenever I work and there's deadlines, I'm just panic stricken the entire time. Is this like stress inducing? Like,
it is. What am I? Of course.
Like, it's August, it's time, and it's like, oh.
Well, like, I hope that generally by like May, June, I've already narrowed down the top design, and I don't go nuts redoing the whole thing. Like, it's a luxury line anyway, so they're not expecting that there's going to be a new overhaul, like, I don't know, like Guess, just everything looks different every year, right? But I always pictured it kind of like, if you look at like Chanel, their bags look the same most
Forever.
of the time. They'll just change the color. Sometimes they change the trim, and sometimes they'll come out trying new things with trends. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. That's how I just kind of do that. I have like, I'll put out maybe by May, June, maybe I'll have like 6 new designs, and then 4 sell, 2 are a hit. Like, it's kind of like that. And then I'll drop the ones I don't really find selling. Like, I had this scrunchie. It did better as a pattern than it did as a finished product.
Well, at least with a pattern, you can just keep selling it.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep selling. And then, maybe I'll keep doing that. But I have other things too. Okay. So time management.
No, wait, we're just going to jump into, because I wanted to say time management. Then I realized everything that you did, and listing those people are probably like, what in the heck? So now I'm just going to break it down. We did Canada. Now we're going to do YouTube.
Yes.
Now, you do all of this. We know it's happening from January all the way up until for your wholesale, to the end of the year. When are you squeezing YouTube, and what are you doing? How many videos are you putting out? And
I can only do like a video a week at this point. And at best, I batch maybe 2 or 3. in one taping, but I'm planning it out in on like I plan it out in the evenings while the kids are watching TV on
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah, in the evenings, like
Hmm.
an hour and a bit, or just like, snacking and like kind of jotting ideas down stuff. Then I usually tape on a Friday or a Saturday, sometimes a Sunday. And hopefully by Sunday, I'm editing. But you introduced me to live streaming, which is like really cool because now,
Just
yeah, like there's very little editing involved, just and screens and stuff like that. So I may be able to do more content if I deliver it through live stream
what I do?
sometime.
I do one recorded video and one live stream. Last year, but I was still working my day job, so I was depending on that day job income. I was the beginning of the year. I usually try to relax, make some new patterns. So all I did was live streams for like the first 2 months of the year. But
Uh-huh.
now this year, since this is my full time job, I'm like, you got to make a pattern. Oop, you got to record.
Yes.
But with homeschooling and the little man, my son, he's 9.
Yeah.
I need help. I need a snack. I'm like, I just.
Just because I'm home, it doesn't mean I'm the chef. That's what I told my family once.
Say it again.
I said, just because I'm home doesn't mean I'm the chef.
I know. Or just, well, this, I was about to say Ask Jeeves, but nobody knows what that is anymore. But you know what I
Oh,
mean.
I do.
Well, yeah, okay. You're an old lady. Of course you know. I'm like, I just want to type and I'm get my tripod up. I'm ready to record. And then there's Google Classroom. That's how they do their school. I hear all the kids on the live chat just screaming and talking about whatever games they're playing. I'm like, forget it. I'll just let my YouTube business fail. It's okay.
No. That's why, like, you put out your pattern this week too, and I'm like, props. She found time to put her mid pattern. Oh my gosh, that's nice. Is that your next pattern that comes out?
Yes, with the matching mittens.
Oh wow. When did you have time to do that?
I've been working on simple panels. These are all flat panels. My boots I've made, they're flat panels. Everything is just back and forth rows.
But that's beautiful.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
so beautiful. See?
I love it. What feeling does that convey? How should I model? I was thinking,
Oh yeah. You know which one I love? That picture you have with you in the cloche. That the green cloche. Oh, girl,
yeah, little,
do something like that with that. Like,
somebody told me I look like Agent Carter from Agent of Shield or whatever it was with the 1950 slope. I had my nice wig on, that kind of curled at the side.
Oh, that's so nice. But yeah, do that kind of thing. That's what I would do with that. That's the feeling I get.
Did I miss? I know we were off on a tangent. Did I miss anything? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I was showing pictures of the celebrities. I should have segued into that. I need to be a better interview. How did you get there? How did you meet all these celebrities?
Okay. Well, okay. So the celebrities. Okay. So like I told you, when I first started out, I was on Etsy. And then whenever I would do a new design, I would kind of make a post of it, put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter. And then I was trying to get the hang of how to do like hashtags and that sort of thing. And then I found out that, I tried little things where I would kind of like, copy similar, like try similar styles, like something on Sarah Jessica Parker or something that Rihanna wore and be like, shop this look. And I would put styles out there that were similar to it. And then, I don't know if that was what exactly sparked this, but I ended up getting a call from like a Hollywood producer who does gifts for the nominees and presenters for the award shows, like the Golden Globes, the Oscars, the Grammys, like AMAs, SB, like everything, right? And then he wanted me to bring my product to, it was the Emmys, but it was in 2 weeks' time. I remember he contacted me in August.
Is this that induced stress?
It was more puzzlement because when that happened, my husband had actually just finished like cancer treatment for a tumor in his skull. So we were in Florida just kind of trying to chill out because we found out they couldn't get rid of all of it. So he had to go back into radiation. And we're like, we just need a break. Let's go visit my parents and chill out. And while I was there, I was just like answering emails. I'd been offline for like 3 days because we drive there. We just like
Yeah.
chill while we're driving.
How old was the email when you opened it? Was
It
it
was
like,
like 3 days old. I know, right? I know. So when I opened it, I was like, oh, and then like this company wants me to go to this award show. And I'm like, is this for real? So I asked my mom if I could use the phone. I called the guy and then it was real. And I'm like, being the HR me, I'm like, could I get 3 references of other vendors? Like, this is what the stuff you got to do when you got to protect yourself, or else
yeah.
you spend like stupid money making bad decisions, right?
Wait,
And I've also done things like that, like made bad decisions on labels and stuff. But and he's like, yeah, you want references? Here's a reference. Here's another reference. So I called other vendors and I'm like, tell me about your experience when you were at this event and blah, blah, blah. And there was this one lady, she used to make bedazzled, like luxury cell phone holder.
okay,
Yeah, like Swarovski. And she told me, she was like, oh, it was good, but it was a little dark and the DJ was too loud, but I got to meet Puff Daddy. And I'm like, and then she's like, but I didn't like him because he was kind of mean. He wanted to keep my most expensive one. And I said it was for display and I offered him another one, but he didn't want it. And I was just like, dude, I would have just made a new, like,
yeah,
you know,
Daddy, post
be
this on
generous.
Instagram.
I can't go there and not be generous, right? So, but I was like, okay, this guy's for real. So I told him, I'm like, I can't do this Emmys, but now that I know that this is going on, if you want me next year, I'll have enough time to make the hats.
Yeah.
And then he said, well, if you can't make the Emmys, would you like to go to the Golden Globes instead?
Another wow, okay.
Yeah, right away. He's like, and I said, oh, he goes, that one's in January, not August. That way you have a few months. Is that enough? And then I was like, so I called my crocheters who were helping me with Etsy, and my mom.
Let's go.
Yeah, my mom taught me how to crochet. So like when I was 6, so my mom's like, I'll help you. Mom. And so yeah, I committed to it. They sent me the contract and the contract is just basically, it's like a confidentiality agreement about what you can say, what you can't say, because it's like a public relations type thing, right? And then I committed to it. And then this is where things got totally out of my realm, but this is how I adapted. Like, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to be adaptable. That's the only other piece of advice. So leading up to the event, so October, I was like, okay, I'm halfway to the number of hats I need to be getting. And like by then I'm kind of panicking because I'm like, I hope I have enough.
Yeah.
This is like the panic you're talking about.
He's gonna need a hat.
Yeah. So okay, leading up to it, I live in Milton, Ontario, and in our local paper, The Champion, there was this lady who brought petty skirts and to like baby petty skirts to an event, and somehow or another it got onto like Tori Spelling's daughter or something like that, and she was local, and I bought my daughter's confirmation skirt from her. So that's how I met her. But like, I remember seeing her article in the paper, and I just love that she's also from Milton. Now we are friends, but I was like, okay, I want to get into the Milton Champion. So I'm going to write a little article about myself and submit it. See if I can get an announcement put out so people know I'm going.
Yeah.
So, I put it out, and then I would advise people to do this, but be cautious about who you hire. In Milton, we also have a mompreneur group, like you can join. And the mompreneur owner approached me before because I got nominated for something. And then but in the group, there are like amazing entrepreneurs. So there was this publicist, or she was like a copywriter. And I asked her, I'm like, can you read my copy? Because I want to just make sure my press release looks good because I wrote it myself. Yeah. And she was like, oh, sure, I'll read it for you. And she's like, do you want me to release it too? Because I do PR work. And I'm like, and she gave me this like mompreneur discount, and it was like a few $100s, right? So I was like, gee, that's a lot of money. But now, like, it was the best investment. And she operates out of Texas. Her name's Jill Worthington. If you ever want to look her up and get like press help. but or have her read stuff for you or do a press release or like a bio. So she was like, yeah, and if you get any press out of it or any interviews, I do like media coaching. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, well, we'll see. I just want to try and get this into the Milton Champion. So
Be local, that's all.
so she sent it off. It gets picked up by the Toronto Star, which is the biggest national paper. And then they called me and they said they wanted to interview me after Christmas because I was leaving January 4th or 5th or something like that for Hollywood. And they're like, can we send a reporter there because we want to do the article better? And I was like, oh, they wanted to do a spread. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I got picked up by Canada AM, which was like the national news. And then I got picked up by CTV, which is like another news.
All from I want to get in the local newspaper. Continue. That's crazy.
Because they're like, our media system is linked through Metrolink. So yeah, and then people were saying to me, they're like, hey, I saw you in the Metrolink in the subway. And I'm like, shut up. I'm in the subway paper? Cool. So that kind of was fortunate. I have to say, like, it doesn't always happen that you're going to get that much press from one press release, but I kind of wrote it out. I did these interviews. I ended up on TV. And then the national station wanted to follow me to Hollywood and then report on me when I got back too. So that was stressful because when I went to Hollywood, they would call me in the night after the junkets, because these events are like soirees, before with the award shows coming up, what's going to happen is there's going to be parties, there's going to be events, and there's going to be these luxury lounges like this, where they'll have like hors d'oeuvres and music and DJs and all these luxury products given to these stars. And I think I told you that the guy next to me was giving private jet memberships. And
here's a hat.
I'm like, I'm giving hats, and wow, I can't believe I'm here with these people. There were resorts giving away
what did you wear?
Pardon?
What did you wear? That would have been a big thing for me.
Yeah, no, I stuck to the basics. I brought black and gray dresses.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, and then it was chilly, so I had a black sweater.
Smart. Okay, you're there. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'll show. Here's one. Do you want me to screen share?
Yes.
Okay. Let me. Oh, I hope I get this right and I don't cut myself off.
Wait. Why is there two of me? Oh, that's my screen share.
Just actually, you share. Do you have the one of Viola Davis and her husband?
Oh yeah. Hold on. Screen share. Let's go on a journey. Is this far down? Let's see.
A little further down.
Up there. We got the guy from Blackett. What's his name? Anthony something.
Anthony. He's so funny. He's funny. Even there it is.
There it is.
I'm wearing a black turtleneck dress and a black sweater.
You look cute. Oh my God.
That's what I just stuck with what was,
That RuPaul? Oh,
yeah.
God. Look at all these celebrities.
RuPaul I met at the Emmys, because after I did the Golden Globes, I was invited to New York Fashion Week. And at New York Fashion Week, that's where I met I met Viola Davis at the Golden Globes, and then where her and her husband were shown. And then she ended up, her husband was the sweetest man. He was like, we want to help you. We're gonna we're gonna take your hats and we're gonna wear them where we're going next. And they were going to the Sundance Film Festival, and look, he's wearing my hat there. And on the red carpet with Viola Davis and J-Lo, because she was in that movie with Jennifer Lopez, they both wore my hats at the Sundance Film Festival. And then Viola Davis gave her speech still wearing my hat.
Oh, wow.
I know. And I was like, holy cow. And it took a coworker at my job, because I was still there at the time. My coworker's like, did you see on Entertainment Tonight Viola Davis was wearing your hat? And I was like, I don't think so. Really, people think they see my hat, but it's not. And she's like, no, it's your hat. I have one of your hats. That's your hat. So when I looked it up on Google, I was like, oh my God. She wore my hat to the film festival and kept it on.
You have to send me the links where you're getting interviewed, where they followed you, the Hollywood. I want to see those links. I have to see those.
Okay, yeah. They're the first 3 videos in my YouTube.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, they're the first 3 videos. It's so cute because my kids are in them. Because one of them, the reporters came to my house, and my kids were just hilarious. Like my son was walking around taking pictures of the cameraman, and then yeah, it was so much. It was so fun. And then go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. So after this, we're about to get into the audience questions.
Yeah.
What advice would you give anybody right now that want to venture into the crochet business, let it be blogging or selling their own finished products?
Oh, wow. That's a pretty broad question. Advice.
What would you give yourself? What advice would you give yourself when you started? How about that?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. Okay. What would I tell my younger self? I would tell myself to, well, I would take the same advice I gave to myself and just start making designs that I like. And then from that pick which designs you think are worthy of going into like your first batch of items. Always keep in mind treating it like a test. I mean, in marketing, most people will do test markets first, but we don't have the luxury of that as small business people. And we're hand making everything. So like, test this, right? Test this variant. But basically, treat everything like a work in progress, like a test. If something's not selling, then focus your energies on the ones that are selling and reiterate it as different styles. Keep the same silhouette maybe and modify it slightly. Like reiterate things that are working. Continue learning because that part never ends. You will always continue learning. To this day, I'm still learning. Like you taught me StreamYard. And then you look up stuff you don't know and be resilient, but also be kind to yourself. That is the biggest thing. You have to be kind to yourself because like if you focus more on the timeline and the goal more than the process of like enjoying the process of where you are when you're doing it, you will hate your business.
Yes.
And I am prey to having done that. I think most entrepreneurs might always do that at some point in the business. Like they'll go in, they'll get so absorbed in meeting like the goals of
other people.
Yeah.
I meet the goals of other people. I'm like, oh, relax.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on behind the closed doors.
Right. And of yourself. Like I know we have goals, but like also be kind to yourself and enjoy the successes as you have them. Because you don't want to hate that part of the business, you know? One thing I learned is like, in any given moment, you should either accept what you're doing, enjoy it, or be enthusiastic about it.
Yes.
So do that and don't beat yourself up if you didn't meet that little goal you set out for yourself, because you will be your worst bully. Don't bully yourself in your business. You'll get nowhere.
I always tell myself, my boss is the meanest lady in the whole wide world. You know what I mean? She'll have me work in at 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, boss, I just want to sleep. My boss is me.
I know.
But guys, if you have any questions for Karen right now, I want you to put question marks in front of your comments so I know to bring it up to the front. And before I get into your questions, I had a happy mail. I meant to mention this in the beginning. I usually don't get happy mail, so when I get it, I'm extremely happy. I got a Valentine's Day card in the mail by Red Heart Crochet Magic. Thank you so much.
So cute.
Also, I recently got to online meet a crochet OG veteran. I think is mine starting to glitch out? Oh, that's why. I got a super chat. Oh, my bubble machine sounds bad. It's like squeaking. Oh, it's Maria. Oh. Let me turn this off. Miss Maria, let me pull you up. Come on, computer. Work with me. Oh, it went down. Here we go. Maria, greetings from your neighbor and fellow marketing major in northern Minnesota, which is actually south of you. Ha. That's that right, MN. I'm horrible with my abbreviations. I am loving today's show. Today has been just fantastic. I'm learning so much. So cheers. Do you wait? Get your water cup. Cheers. Wait. There we
Ding!
go.
I'm gonna get that right.
Eventually. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, today we're not going to do any wheels of fun because this is all focused on my buddy here, Karen. So
Oh,
it's all about you. So, but what I wanted to tell you about this crochet online OG, Linda Douglas. She has sent me email. You know, I get emails every so often, and we just start talking about crochet. She's like, I don't know. Back in the day, I had this popular website. I don't know if you've heard of it. It was the Virtual Afghan. If any of you haven't heard of this, I found this like in the early 2000s. It's been offline for such a long time. But just imagine 15 years ago,
so forward thinking.
On anything crochet online is not what it is today. Now you can crochet how to do a slip stitch and you'll find 852 videos. She had a whole category of 500 to 600 granny squares where people were able to download for free so they could create granny squares. So when I started, I'm like, what? Little did you know, somebody that I probably was on her website back in 2004 crocheting a granny square, 60 degrees of separation. I'm talking to her in my email. So if Linda, if you are watching, hi Linda. Sorry.
Hi, Linda.
Okay, let's see if we have some questions for you. Scroll. Here we go.
I love questions.
Price. Does she have an Etsy show? Like talk about Etsy on your show, like your YouTube channel, like a playlist.
Oh, okay. Well, I have an Etsy shop and I have a YouTube show. So my show is Karen V. Miguel. And you can, if you look Karen V. Miguel, like literally my name.
It's down in the description box.
Yes. And do I have an Etsy shop? I do. I don't use it as much as my actual standalone shop. The reason I left my Etsy shop open was because that's where I started, and a lot of people, like my old school customers, will still look for me there and place their orders there. But my full line is on my Canada Bliss website, which is canada-bliss.com.
I think, I don't know if she meant this also, but don't you talk about how to make money on Etsy on your YouTube channel?
Yes, I talk a lot about specific to Etsy, not as much specific to Etsy, but generally about how to make money on e-commerce.
Oh, like Etsy shop. I'm sorry.
Like on commerce, like e-commerce website, like selling online, selling at craft shows. Like not so much at craft shows right now because we can't be out, but right now, the most important thing is if you're starting or if you already have a business is you definitely need an e-commerce presence, because this COVID alone has like elevated the captivity of your audience if you have an e-commerce site. So if you don't already have an e-commerce site, then try to establish one. Yes.
Here we go. Oh, another one of my faves, Toro 8-star. Do celebrities order directly from you?
They do. They'll like, okay.
They actually like, hey, Karen, I need me a bedazzled hat.
Yeah.
With diamonds in it.
They'll they'll DM me. They will. Yeah, there was a lady.
No names, but are you like, oh my God.
Yeah. And I want to screenshot and share it, but like I have to respect their privacy too.
Oh my goodness.
But just recently, like they'll message me. They'll be like, "Hey, can I get another one of these in black?" Or I put this happens all the time. I put my hat in the dryer. I always tell them like, it's on the wash instructions, lay flat to dry, roll it in a towel, but they like the occasional hat, just like everybody else's, might end up in the dryer or washed wrong, or their dog gets it, especially the ones with the pom-poms.
Yeah. Have you ever met any celebrity crocheters where they're like, oh, this is beautiful, I know how to make that? You never met one?
You know who crochets is Alan Cumming.
Really?
Yeah. He has a few of my hats. Like he loves knits. And I remember when I met him, because I met him once in New York, and then I met him again in I think I met him in Beverly Hills during the Emmys again. And
Uh-huh.
then we got chatting. I'm like, oh, how's your hat? you know, and he was talking about this yellow hat he had when he was younger, and he was just talking about the stitches. I love how the crochet is like this. And then I gave him another yellow hat that he could wear that I had on me. Oh, and that's another thing too. Like if you're starting your business, like blessed things and luck happen with preparedness. So I have to say the first 2-3 years I was getting started, I always had a beanie in my purse. Always.
Wow, that's smart. That's a good tip. Continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
Bam.
now this is Canadian television, but I remember I went to a dinner. Okay. And do you know, you probably heard about her, but she got a really bad rap with this whole, she insulted like a black lady, but her name's Jessica Mulrooney. She's friends with Meghan Markle.
Okay.
And then there was another lady, Cheryl Hickey. She's an Entertainment Tonight host.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to a dinner and Cheryl Hickey was at my table and I was like, what the heck? So anyway, I had my newest release of I brought my bijou hat, the one with the jewels
Yeah.
on the side. And I'm like, shoot, this is an expensive hat just to make, but I'm going to just give it to her. Like, so, so when we started talking, I told her, I'm like, I have a hat for you. I just pulled it out of my purse, my dinner purse. And I gave it to her, and her stylist was at the table too. So they were like, "Oh, this is a great!" Like we were like, I'm always trying to create an opportunity or like a deal or anything.
That's what I like about you. You are not afraid. I know that's what holds me back sometimes, but you had a hat in your purse and was like, "This is for you." There was no fear. I'm sure there was fear.
Oh, there is. I'm always like gonna look like a fool.
I love that when you step over it, you say, "I don't care," and go forward. And look where it's brought you.
Well, you just got to keep doing it though. And then there was another lady I met. She's from Dragon's Den. That's our Shark Tank here.
Okay.
Yeah. And I met her at a fashion event. And I pulled like same thing. I had my newest release. It was my Tranquility Pom Pom hat. And I pulled it out of my hat. I found her place setting. So I arrived early. I figured out where she was going to sit. And then later on, I kind of was like, I just moseyed over when she wasn't so busy. And I'd be like, hi, I really admire you. Got her talking. And when she was open enough to like chat with me, then I'd be like, I brought this for you. And then she DM'd me and she was like, hey, can I get this one and this one? Like she started taking shots from they'll take shots from the website and saying, I really like how this one is too. So like they'll place more orders.
Oh my God. That is, wow. Okay. That's so exciting. Just a whole story of just like celebrities contact you like, yes, I want one in pink, and you just looking like, she's sitting over there. She should be here in 15 minutes. I have a plan. That is so funny. Okay. My girl, Brini, 815. How do you set the price for wholesale?
Wholesale. Okay. So I have a couple videos on this already. Like I think you do too.
Okay. You can send me the link. So this is about you. After this, send me the link, but continue to talk.
Yeah, I have one of my earlier videos on pricing. I actually give a spreadsheet download, and you can plot in, as long as you know by unit how much yarn you need to make something and how much that amount of yarn costs you, and then how many, like if you have other expenses too, you can include them. Like say you have a booth fee, or you have electricity that you have to pay for your booth, or you have insurance, then you can incorporate the operating expenses. There'll be a field as well if you pay a crocheter or if you pay yourself. You should always pay yourself, okay? Always put that in the spreadsheet because it'll incorporate it. All the fields are formula. I put formulas in them already, and you can't accidentally type over it. So you can't mess it up. And then it'll calculate your wholesale price, and it'll also calculate the range of prices that you could consider selling your product at. Like it'll have like beginner kind of craft show. If like you're just breaking into the craft show market and you're not quite sure how much to charge, you're probably charging close to what's wholesale. and you probably want to charge a little bit more than that. When you're more established, say you're already in boutiques, you should be pricing around the same price your boutiques are selling your product at, which is times 2 of your wholesale price. So, for example, if after plugging in that you make baby blankets, that your materials are like $11, your expenses are like $3 per hat, and then you pay yourself, I don't know, 10, $15, your wholesale price for that unit will probably be around $30 or so, like $30, $40. And then the retail price will be somewhere between like low end $38 if you're really not, if you're just doing craft shows, Christmas shows and stuff like that. And then the top end would be like $60, $70. You want to charge double of what your wholesale price is. So if you can download the pricing template, then you'll have the full range. You'll have the wholesale price, and then you'll have the full range of other prices you can fall between. It just depends on how well established you feel your brand is already.
Okay, guys. Know what? Do not go to my blog to find how to price. I'm going to link to hers. So on this replay, down in the description box below, we're going to have all those links for you. Because you got a calculator. That sounds so much better. Another one of my fave, Risk Candy. Any advice on how to find your niche? What made you decide on hats as your focus? I was told to do what resonates in my soul, but how do I know what resonates if I want to learn to do it all?
Oh, yeah. Do it all. That's interesting. How to find your niche.
Want me help out while you think too?
Yeah, well, yeah. Go ahead.
When I first started, I did it all. I wish I would have niched myself down. I always tell the story when somebody says, hey, my favorite, will you make a horse a harness cover? I was like, yes. Will you make my cat a sweater? I was like, yes. I crocheted it all. But then I realized I started to niche down. What I do now, you'll see me, it's usually never more than hats, mittens, gloves, accessories. But I love how you were able to, it's just hats. So do you think you got a kind of feeling? What do you think? What's your advice?
I feel the same way. Like, I think we all started the same way. Like, I started crocheting very young, so I made everything.
Yeah.
I made carrying cases for my Walkman, and like, and when I was a kid, I'm like, I can crochet anything. Like, I crochet Cabbage Patch doll dresses. When I was like 20 in my first apartment, I was crocheting doilies, and I lived alone. So I was like, it's so quiet. I'll just, why not just crochet like a placemat for everybody? Like I crocheted everything. And then when I started making things, I don't know, like, I made hats only because it was like, it's very practical. Like, I live in Canada, so everyone every year is going to need a hat, or a headband because it gets cold, or scarves. And like, how did I niche down? Like, I still love making, honestly, I love making like sweaters for my dog. I'm not going to sell those because I only have enough time to do that for my dog. Maybe one day I would, but you have to enjoy the product you make. Like, if there are some styles I even make that I don't love making, but it's in my line, and I'm committed to making because it's a popular design. But like, oh my God, I hate making it because it hurts my hands.
I've made sweaters in the past. I despise making sweaters. I never like to crochet. I can crochet all day if I'm crocheting 15 hats.
Yeah.
If you ask me to make a blanket, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's too big. I just don't want to do it.
Even with my fundamental hat, the men's hat, beautiful, simple stitch all the way down. It takes almost like freaking 4 or 5 hours to make. Oh. That's why when I found a crocheter that crocheted like me, it was the first one I offloaded, because I'm like,
take it, please.
Right? Yeah, you do this design, but oh wow, I could still make it, but I don't love it because it hurts my hands.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we have another. This is one of my best buddies, J Hook Crochet. She is also a YouTuber. You guys make sure you check out her YouTube channel. She says, do you only do hats, and do you sell patterns too, or only just finished objects?
Okay, I don't only do hats, so I do like other things too, other accessories. I have masks, so I'm a bit of a I can sew too, but I have hand warmers. I've done like caplets, neck warmers, like complimentary products, because from shows, that's one of the reasons I like doing consumer shows, because I get direct feedback from my customers what they want to go with it. And if I get enough interest in it, then I will do it. Sometimes I get things that they think I should make and then I do it and they don't sell.
Yeah.
So, but do I sell patterns too? I have like a few. I've released a pattern. Oh, actually, I've only released one. Oh my gosh, I have patterns, and my goal this year is to do patterns and get my blog up to date. But it's just like the time management part of it, because I had picked up other contract work in between. I was spending some of my time doing other consulting, but now I've kind of weaned away more from that, focusing on just like my audience. And now I'll have more time to sell patterns and also get my blog more up to date. So, but at this time, I sell, my primary focus is finished products, but I'll be selling patterns.
Okay. This is just a comment. Another one of my favorites, Crafty Chats. Haha, just occurred to me that you literally headhunt for famous heads.
Headhunt.
Headhunter.
Oh, well, I was in HR. I like to call it being resourceful. I
You
also,
are.
because I'm resourceful, I like to apply my resourcefulness to everything, like finding materials. I headhunt yarn. I headhunt crocheters. I headhunt
Did
like,
you headhunt me? Is that
did
what
I?
you did? Did you headhunt me and I didn't even know it?
No, I think we were lucky that way.
What did you do, like subliminal and I didn't even realize? You're just so magic. I'm just kidding. You're
No,
just so wonderful.
honestly though, I believe like if you put things out there, sometimes if it's meant for you, it happens. You know why? Because, and I don't share this story, but like I remember when I was back in the office, like when I was working at the school board and crocheting and all that sort of thing, my friend's brother was the guitarist for Christina Aguilera, but she was my
Okay.
assistant. Okay. And then she was like, "Oh my gosh, Colin's playing for Christina again." I'm like, "Do you think she could get like you could get him a hat for me to give to Christina?" And I
Never.
that was my first conception of, if I can, because I know consumers are fickle, right?
Mhm.
We all know that it's worth more than $30 to sell our product, because a hat, the materials alone and our labor are 20 or $30,
Yes.
like bare bones minimum. How are you going to charge 60 to $80 by adding value? That's the only way you can add, like, you have to find creative ways to add value to the perception of your product. And the only way to do that, and that's one of the reasons why when I shoot, I hire an actress to be my model, because she like gives it when she's like modeling. And
Uh-huh.
she's like just this Canadian actress. She's like an indie. She does her own indie films and everything, but she's got this quality. Like when I saw her picture, I'm like, her, because she just knows how to somehow emote in her pictures. And why? Because later I found out she's an actress. This other girl, she's also, so I like hiring actresses as my models, not models.
See, that's what you need to teach me how to delegate. We talked about this in private. I'm like, I need to, instead of doing it all, like, you're hiring people. My photos is just me in a selfie stick in an awkward situation. And it's like, oh,
But pictures of me, I do myself. Like I'm sitting on this chair and I'd be like, like me, like,
yeah. This is, I keep saying another one of my faves. When I say faves, it's because I know who you are. I see you all the time. Okay, unapologetic mocha. How do you interview or hire other crocheters to produce work for you?
okay, that's like, again, it's word of mouth. Like the best way to do it is like, if you already do shows, here's one way. Like if you're at craft shows, craft fairs, church functions where you're selling your hats, there's other crocheters that you're meeting, crochet circles. Um, okay, if you're at a craft show and there's other crocheters, don't think of them as your competition. Think of them as like your ally. Go up to them and be like, "Oh, have you ever thought about crocheting for anybody else?" Or like, Because a lot of crocheters, all they want to do is crochet. They don't want to do the marketing part. They don't
Yeah.
want to be running a business. Like a lot of these crocheters are retired ladies who want to be busy while they're watching their grandkids, you know? So like just ask them. That's like I have a crocheter, her name is Rosa. She's this adorable Italian lady from like the city over. She just wants to crochet. So like how did I meet her? I think I met her through the yarn store that I was buying my yarn from. And they said, oh, this lady's looking for crochet work. You want to give her a call? Like put it out there to the places you buy yarn from that you're looking for someone to help you. These yarn people, like these yarn boutiques and stores, they're always talking to people. They will help you find
Oh, wow.
crocheters. And then even like if you go to a crochet along group, like a meetup, there's meetups everywhere. Like you meet up at Panera, you meet up at McDonald's, wherever, and you just all crochet in a circle. Oh my gosh, it's like labor to be had, you know? Like some people are just like, I don't know what I'm gonna make after this. And you're like, hey, would you wanna make some stuff for me? I have some extra orders.
You're like a crochet madam or pimp.
I don't know. I'm good at asking. I just ask. Like if you ask in a nice way, then people will be open to it. But I mean, I've asked people, be like, hey, would you be willing to crochet my designs? And they'd be like, some of them are not nice. And then you're just
Really?
like, oh, okay, whatever.
Really? What was like the meanest thing somebody said to you?
Oh, oh boy. There was this one
Oh,
lady.
I didn't expect the story, but okay, go ahead.
Uh there was this one lady, and I don't like I think she was from the I don't she was from the UK, and she's just like out of the blue massively cruel. Like she messaged me, she's like, how dare you charge what you do for your hats? I've taken your patterns and I've sent it to this factory in China, and I'm going to show you what your stuff is worth. And I'm just like, oh my god, my design is in China. And I'm like, oh my god, like she scared me. And I remember reading on my phone, and I started shaking, and I was walking my dog, and I'm like, I felt like attacked, and I was like, okay. And then I start like immediately you want to reply like
Yeah.
don't steal my pattern, you
No.
know. But I think that was when I first got my first kind of wake up
Oh.
call, like, you know, okay, if this woman is gonna do that, I can't stop her.
Mhm.
Okay. If someone's gonna steal your pattern, you can't do anything about it. But is it gonna be made by me? No. Is it
Yeah.
gonna be like
Marketed
marketed
like
by
you.
me and curated in every way with the materials and the quality and craftsmanship? No. So
I,
I'm like,
I
yeah,
think that all the time. Don't worry, TDSM 19. I'm going to get to you. I think that all the time. I see crocheters like so and so stole my idea. So and so did this. There's only so many ways you can tie a knot. But I've had many people, I wouldn't say steal. My patterns are pretty basic. But let's say you stole 100% of my pattern. You can never sell your pattern like I can sell my pattern.
right?
You might make $15. I'm making hundreds of dollars off of that one pattern that you sold.
Okay, I
So
need to sell patterns.
what'd you say?
I said I need to sell patterns.
You should.
I do. I want to. Ever since I started on Etsy, people were writing from like the Golden Globe days. They're like, can you sell this pattern? And I'm like, dude, I'm like still working on January orders in April. Publish my pattern.
Oh, okay. Let me get to TDSM. Here we go. I like saying it. It's like TDSM. I'm so used to saying it now. I say it so quickly. Do you recommend trying to make things similar to what's currently in style or the classics?
I'm all about classics. Like even the way I guess it's just, and I'm not just like saying you should do one or the other, but like my style in general is just classic. Like I have like I personally, my personal style is like basic. Like this dress I will wear for the next 15 years. I have a bajillion black, gray, and white t-shirts, and I just changed my blazer. Like that's one of the reasons I love accessories, because you could just stick a different scarf on it and it looks like a different top. But like
Mhm.
generally I make classics because I like classics. I love classic movies. I love classic musicals. I like classical music. That's me. But I like, yeah, if you want to make like bikinis with like all these stuff on it, then go for it. If you just love it, do it.
I agree. Another one of my faves, Miss Shakita. I would like to focus on clothing for large size women like myself. Do you think there's a stable market for patterns and merchandise?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Plus sizes is like, oh my gosh, there's a booming market for it. And I think too that the fashion community and social media is embracing the different sizes. I
Mhm.
think you're onto something. And if you know how to, like, if you can figure out a way to niche that and like launch it, then I would say do it. That's fantastic.
I agree. There's so many times I'm online and you look at a pattern and the model. I'm sure there's other sizes of the pattern, but when you instantly see the model is a size 2, and you're like, I'm not even going to try that pattern. If I've talked to some girls with some triple D's, they're like, lady, they're not fitting in this top. I need a pattern that can fit my shape. So yes,
Mhm.
do it, please. And
Can I add to that?
go ahead.
Also, like, larger sizes, generally, even if somebody was, like, in their youth, uh, like, I don't know, a 6 or an 8 or whatever, as the demographic grows, you put on weight.
Mhm.
But as you and it's natural too, you keep that extra weight too. But this larger demographic also is they have higher income and they have a higher demographic group. And don't think that I'm, like, totally headhunting rich people and all this. It's not like that.
The
You
people
have to
who are
know your
watching this right
analytics.
now want to hear these things. She wants to make money, so continue.
Like, just I'm not trying to be like an opportunist, but like the truth is you have to know your analytics, you need to know your demographics, you have to study where, like, if someone were to post up a question like where should I have, like, if craft shows were happening right now and they said where should I have a craft show, you know what I would do? I would look at the real estate market. I would look at where the highest values like houses are being sold. I would look at income per capita per household, and I would choose a craft show in that area. That's what I would do because they'll pay the price for what you want to sell if that's what your niche is.
Did this just come natural to you? I would have never thought that. Where's your book? Wait, you want to promote your class, or is it
Oh,
kind of closed? Is
oh
your
yeah. Yeah, just so you know, like I have a course that's open right now for enrollment. It's
send me the link after this? But continue.
okay. It's like in my course, I basically teach, like, if you've already kind of had like dabbled in trying to sell your handmade items, and maybe if you already have like a social media, like an Instagram, and you want to establish yourself in your own like commerce website, what I teach in my course is like basically how to capitalize on building and speaking to your audience, and then like engaging with them, then taking that engaged audience and making them a captive audience of yours, and then turning those captive audience into sales, and then continuing the process so it becomes a nice cycle for your business, and then generating regular income. Because this is what I set up for myself, and I've tested it, and this is, I mean, to what I do every day. I mean, you can launch anything, and I even tested that, like, it saved me during COVID, because if I didn't have this system going, I wouldn't have had the best spring ever during COVID.
Oh yeah,
Like,
tell me about that story. How?
yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have my own system, and this is exactly what I'm going to teach in my course. But basically, I engage my audience, I turn it into a captive audience, I speak to them, and I create sales as a system. And then during COVID, my people knew I was making handmade things, and they were asking me, "Do you make masks?" And I'm like, "I'm not really a sewer. I can sew, but I'm more a crocheter." But I'm like,
I'm
well,
gonna throw today.
yeah, the world is in need of masks. If they're looking for it from me because they know I make quality things, I don't put stuff out there if they're not of good quality, then I will endeavor to put something nice together. So it took me a few tries, but then I ended up coming up with a pattern I loved, and I released it, and I'm like, okay, I'll launch it like I do my regular like launches. So I approached my audience, spoke to them that I was going to be releasing these masks, launched it, and literally in like 2 days I made $3,500. Yeah,
And guys, when you get the link, when you sign up, is this for the sign up going to be for the March class?
the March class, yes.
If you sign up for the March class, I'm going to be in this class. I purchased this myself. So, I'm not just bringing on this person like, I put my money into it and I'm willing to learn from Karen. I'm ready to make my 2021 just financially super successful. So when I get the link, please, guys, if you want to make money, click it and find out. She's the woman to go to.
Thank you, Alysha.
You're welcome. Shalitha, or is it Shalitha? Sometimes the ER is an A. But I make scarves, hats, blankets, pillows, Bible covers, amigurumi, and I can make clothes, but I don't like making clothes. Do you see worth in making clothes?
If you don't like making it, I would say don't do it.
I hate it.
It's a lot of work.
I get so amazed. Sometimes, like when I see TL Yarn Craft, I'm like, did she just put a Tunisian crochet sweater out last week and put another Tunisian crochet sweater out this week? When do you have the time?
I don't even know how you have time to make mittens.
They're hats. You make hats.
I know.
They're quick, but a fool, you got to do sizes from extra small to 5X to make sure everybody's happy. That's too much brain work. With a hat, you're like, it stretches. It is 21 to 22. It's good.
The thing is, for me, like, I don't know. You'll have to teach me how to like time manage when to turn, like when you write it out, how you get it on the blog, like all of that. Like that's extra time too. It's very like administrative, and you have to make sure it's like formatted and all that.
I didn't realize. I thought I was unorganized, but because I was, what do they call it? Organized disorder? I don't know, but whatever. Organized chaos. But when somebody asked me, like, what do you do? I was like, this is what I did. They're like, you are so organized. That organization happened one step at a time.
Okay.
I began by just making YouTube videos. I didn't have all this stuff you already got going on in the background. That's all I did. Then I decided to do written patterns. I did that last. So YouTube, pattern, publish. Then I learned how to blog. So I'm like, okay, now it's a bigger circle. It's a this and this and it just comes naturally. It becomes you add one piece at a time.
Yeah, I have to. Oh, yeah, because my mind right now.
Down for you. I'll write it down.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
Oh, thank you. Because the whole thing for me is like I want to jump ahead with getting my blog back up too. So because I want to be able to share what I'm doing, but gee, I just want to be efficient. I'm always looking to be efficient.
Yeah, see, I love passive income. It has been the biggest financial stress, time-consuming relief I've ever experienced. I don't work as hard as I did in the beginning. I mean, I guess I still work hard. I'm still putting out a lot of content. But at the same time, in the middle of the day, I've been telling people, I've been streaming Xena for the past 3 weeks. Xena the Warrior Princess. TV show from the 90s. Because I had time. I'm like, I'm done today, but I'll still pick up work later. But to walk it up. So passive income.
Yes.
Oh, already got hers. Oh, guys, if you have any questions, we'll be wrapping up soon. I don't want to keep you too long. I'm sorry. What was I going to say? Oh, if you have any questions, put question marks in front of it. We'll probably go on for an extra 10 minutes and then we'll wrap it up.
I'm good.
You good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sometimes once I get into it, I don't even realize it's already been like an hour and 17 minutes.
This has been an awesome hour and 17 minutes.
Oh, good. Because I'm scared, like, on my own live streams, sometimes I'll go longer, but I'm scared, like, my interview, like, I wish you would shut up and stop asking me questions.
No. I love interacting with people. And we're still in lockdown, so I don't get a lot of human interaction.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Oh, another question from Shalitha. You hire folks to model for you, but at what point in business do you see that being necessary? Meaning, should you make a certain amount of money per month before hiring a model?
Let me think.
That's what I want to know too.
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay. So this is how I started. When I started my Etsy site, my friend was my model. So I didn't pay her, but she wanted a model. Mm-hmm. So when people want a model, that's like awesome. I paid her in hats. So, and then the actress, I paid her in product too for my first shoot. Like,
Yeah.
there's just creative ways to pay them too. Like, if you want to work in an agreement, then you can. When is it time to hire a model? Huh. I don't know. I still have a lot of designer friends who um, don't pay a model. They find creative ways to not have to. Like, if your niche is baby, the best way to get a model for free is to offer the photographer free props, or yeah, free props for their photo studio. Then they get to use it on the child of whoever they're shooting for, and it's going to be amazing because they're professional photographers. And then all you ask for in terms of the free prop is for sample, like things that you'd have permission from the person who had the shoot to do a release that you can use it as a product shot. So that's a way to get a free model.
I got a question. Since I don't have any local models, do you recommend, like myself, if I found one of my crochet friends online and I'm broke, should I like ship my crochet stuff to them for them to model?
Yeah,
do you do that, or
you could do that. I've considered doing that, but have I ever done that? Usually, like influencers.
Mhm.
Have I done that? I did that with an influencer once where you ship your product to them, but I let them keep it because, like,
Yeah,
why ship it back, right?
yeah.
And then they do a good job with like just photograph, and all it costs you is the cost of the product, but then you get their reach from their social media group,
True.
and you get free product shots.
Okay, here we go. This is a follow-up. Follow-up for my last question. Do you pay your crocheters money, material, or both?
I pay my crocheters money and I give them the materials. So all I'm paying for them is the labor. And then I also give them the tools they need. So if they're crocheting off of yarn skeins, then I provide the Swift, and if they don't have the hook, they could sometimes the crocheters want to use their own hooks. So if they want to use their hooks, great. If they're missing the hook that they need to create the design I want, then I will buy them the hook. And then if I stop using a crocheter, like one of my crocheters moved really far north, and I simply can't have her doing it anymore because it's too far for me to drive. So, and I only recruit in the GTA, like Toronto area. So it's easy enough for me to pick up if I'm in a jam. And I have to tell you a story about wine in a minute.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
But I pay them. Yeah, I pay them in cash. I mean, well, I'm not cash. I pay them money, and then my accountant does their T2 or T4 or whatever, and as a contractor.
Okay. This is Shakita again. I have a lot of followers on YouTube and Pinterest. How can I turn those followers into potential customers?
By taking my course. Well, it's true. Like that was the whole thing. Like I remember when I first started on Instagram, it was like brand new. It's like 2016, and I'm like, okay, everyone's caught up. Like to me, it kind of just didn't make sense. I'm like, everybody's caught up in getting likes and follows, but unless you can monetize this, how does this help me?
Yeah.
Right? And then eventually, like I started like trying to figure out ways to kind of create a channel for them to become captive audiences of my own. And then once I managed to do that, then I communicated with them on a regular basis. What you need is a way to get immediately in front of them. And the way that they changed the algorithm now, you can't get immediately in front of your followers on Instagram because unless they're looking at your posts on a regular basis, you don't appear on their feed.
Yeah.
The only thing you appear on occasionally is their story if they happen to be on when your story is on. So you need a way that outside of them being on social media, you could still contact and communicate with them.
Okay. I have a question, but you have a lot of followers on YouTube and Pinterest. Can't you just link back to wherever? Yeah, wherever you trying to get the most? For my blog, YouTube, and sends a lot of traffic to my YouTube and my Etsy shop. I have a lot of people. My Pinterest, I get 2.6 million monthly views. Their impressions don't mean anything, but Pinterest to my blog, it sends me about a fourth of my traffic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Link
So
back.
definitely link back to your e-commerce. If you're not on an e-commerce like on Etsy or your own standalone, you definitely need one.
Okay. A nice easy one from Toro 8 Star. Do you have a particular hook and yarn you constantly love to work with?
I do. I use Boya all the time. I
Oh,
know. I
oh,
know. I'm just stuck on them. I'm not like, but I have the ergonomic handle. And because the ergonomic handle works with me, then I'm used to it. I know it fits the plunger. I know it fits the handle. I
yeah.
just never change. And it's like it's old school, but it's what I still use. And I
Okay.
have like
Sorry.
I have a tendonitis in my right hand too, so sometimes I can't shut my hand completely. This
Mhm.
is the thing. That's why sometimes you have to change the way that you do business if you can't make as much.
Out of all the things that you make, how much is made by you? Like what
Hmm.
percentage?
Well, this year a lot because I we were restricted in how often we could go to other people.
Yeah.
So a lot was made by me, but luckily before lockdowns I had some of my inventory already.
Mhm.
So this year, how much is made by me? I don't know. I'd probably say this year was like 50-50. Like
Okay.
personally me. Yeah.
Okay. How about the year before without COVID?
Maybe 20 or 30%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miss Kathleen, how long did it take you to break into a profitable business?
Profitable. Wow. Okay. It was okay. My first year, I was profitable because of the whole Hollywood thing.
So that was your first year.
Yeah, like I was on 1 year
Uh-huh.
prior to I was on Etsy 1 year, and then the year going into it, the following 2014, no,
Mhm.
2015, the beginning of 2015, was the second year, and that was the year I was profitable.
Wow.
Because the first year I was spending on materials, and then the next year when I got aired on TV, then like literally I remember walking out of the studio and my phone, like when my phone was blowing up, like
Man.
it was orders, 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 and I was like, yeah, like it really makes a difference.
This is just a funny one. I knew Alysha was going to go blah, boy, because her Susan Bates. Yes, I love Susan Bates. Guys, I just want to see in a comment. What is your favorite hook? Is it Susan Bates or is it boy? Here we go. Miss Shalita, she has a lot of questions for us. Thank you for participating and asking questions. It helps us keep going along so we're not sitting here like, what's next? So if you guys have any questions, Karen, she's happy to keep blabbing along with us. I
Oh yeah.
appreciate it. Just put little questions in front of your comment, and then I'll be able to bring it up to the front.
Look, there's a boy lover here. We should have posted that person.
I'll bring the
chats.
We're the boy lover.
Oh,
Boo!
I'm just kidding.
I'm business and computer illiterate. Do you help with that in your class? I need help.
I don't know. It depends on how you do have to be a little bit like you got to know how to navigate at least around your computer. Like, do you know how to open up Google, like the web browser? A lot of that happens there because I do show how to set up a simple e-commerce if you're not on it already, or even if you have Etsy already, I will show you how to do your own standalone e-commerce because if you decide to migrate off of Etsy like I did because you're not happy with how they charge fees and stuff now. And I don't want to say anything negative. I mean, I'm still on there as well, but
This is
honestly,
another place to make money. I sell my pattern everywhere, not
yeah,
just Etsy, everywhere.
everywhere. Just go everywhere your customer can be found. But I just found that like when you have a standalone site, you have so much more liberty in terms of what you want to do. If you want to create like pop-ups that help people close, like that help people like finish their shopping cart, if you want to put pop-ups to like give them a discount, like there's so many things that you could do. If you want to incorporate it with your mailing list, there's just so many things you can do on a standalone site that Etsy won't let you do.
Mhm.
And now they really make you work for your, before you could download your report in Etsy and
Yeah.
have a column of the customer information. Now you have to copy and paste it
Yeah.
just so it's that hard, so they have it but you don't. Why? I'm like, you should be able to have ease of access to that information. Anyway, I do show how to do that, and you would need to be able to point and click, but I do show the point. I will show a point and click tutorial of how to do it, and the lessons after the live lesson would be posted. So if you have any questions, there's a coaching session at the end of the week. So if you had any questions during the week while you were trying to do it for yourself, you can come back to the group, and the group comes back and we cover questions.
Yeah. And I would like to add an extra tip or suggestion. Please don't be afraid of computers. I know it sounds scary and intimidating. Apparently, in my house, I'm the computer person. I am not by birth a computer person. Before starting crochet or anything, I didn't know about Instagram. I didn't know how to start a website. I didn't know how to blog, Pinterest, social media, any of that. Thank God for YouTube. Step by step, I learned. My husband, I keep telling him he refuses to do anything. If it's something on the computer, he won't touch it. I'm like, baby, it's an email. It's not scary. It's 2021, baby. All you got to do is click. I don't know, I'm going to break something. Don't be afraid. It's just some buttons. Nothing bad can happen. And she'll walk you through everything. Point and click. That's all the computer internet stuff is. Point and click.
And it'll be recorded so you can watch it over
and over. Here we go. Crafty chats.
Okay.
You're divorced.
You're sweet.
I'm just kidding. I still love you. Oh, let me scroll down. We do got some. Latrice, a new one. Latrice, I love watching your videos. Are you still willing to appraise some items that I've made? I'm afraid my pricing may be too low. Thank you so much. Well, right now, I do not like to price anybody's crochet items. One, we're doing an interview right now. I might appraise like what your Etsy shop looks like or what your Facebook business page looks like. But pricing, I'll leave that to you. I will be leaving some links to Miss Karen's pricing calculator down below. But pricing, that's a touchy subject amongst crocheters. I'm all for pricing where I get the most money.
Yes.
There we go. Let me scroll up. Oh, am I missing questions? Nope. I get weird when I hear like a silence. So does anybody else have any questions? All right. I think that's pretty much it. All right. So guys, thank you so much for joining us on our live streams. For the replay, all the links will be down in the description box below. Karen, thank you. Did you enjoy yourself?
Thanks so much. I really appreciate you having me. I've had a blast. It was so much fun.
Yoo-hoo. All right, so let's tell everybody bye.
Bye, everyone.